Should be firing up. Great, we are live. Thanks everyone for joining this week's Cross Project Council meeting. Today is the 11th of February. Thanks everyone for joining. Again, I'll remind folks to drop their GitHub handle and their name in the meeting notes. There is the doc for folks to easily get at it. And as usual, please help us by maybe taking some notes. And welcome to a couple of the new faces I see, new names I see on the call here. There's another person on the GitHub issue too that mentioned he was going to join. They were going to join, so we'll see. But anyway, getting into things, does anyone have any announcements they want to share? I have a couple, so I will go first, and if anybody has anything else they can add afterwards. So we have a collaborator summit meeting immediately after this call, or at least at the top of the hour. So if you have an interest in helping on the next OpenJS collaborator summit, feel free to join that. If let me actually check while we're here to see if it is on the OpenJSF.org calendar. It is, great. So if you go to calendar.openjsf.org, you'll see the meeting at 1 p.m. Eastern time with all of the details for Zoom and what have you. So please feel free to join us if you're interested in that. We had a scheduled meeting for after that at 2 p.m. today Eastern time for the OpenJS Foundation standards team. But we had a conversation in Slack, and most of the regular folks who regularly attend couldn't make it. So we decided to cancel this week's meeting. So we'll pick things up in 2 weeks, I believe. And we can talk more about standards work there. There are a few things that are in flight that I'm looking forward to discussing. So feel free to join us then. And that, let me just take a quick look, is on the meeting, is on the calendar as well. So in 2 weeks, the standards team meeting details are there. Let's see, on the 18th, which I don't see on the calendar, and maybe Rachel or someone from the foundation can help us there, but I was alerted that there is a PR/marketing meeting on the 18th of February at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
So great.
I will get that on the calendar.
Awesome. If you have any interest in that, that's please feel free to join there. That's a good place to get involved with any of the event related stuff or content or what have you. Lots of good stuff happening there. And then one more meeting announcement is we have the Code of Conduct team initial meeting is happening tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. That's the 12th, tomorrow, the 12th of February. We'll maybe touch on this briefly in the agenda, but this is basically a team that is not the moderation team per se, but a team that's working to further flesh out what a code of conduct would look like at the OpenJS Foundation level. So that is our first meeting tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So I think that's all the announcements I have. Let me let some more people into the panelists here. Letting those folks join. Does anybody have any other announcements that they want to share before we get into the agenda?
Just a quick one. We do have our OpenJS World CFP is open through February 21st. So if you are interested in submitting a talk, please do so. And in addition, if you see any, if you wouldn't mind giving us some amplification, so any sort of retweets or anything like that on social media to get the word out that the CFP is open, and we are looking forward to everybody's wonderful submissions.
Great, yeah, that's only 10 days. So
Yeah.
If you have an interest, please join
Rochelle,
in.
Rochelle, could you please drop like the tweet in Google Doc, please?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Toby. Cool. And then also I'll just say, the Collab Summit meeting is happening after this meeting. If you have any interest, whether you want to join the meeting or not, there is a Summit repo, and we'll we've already started to post issues there around sessions and ideas, and starting to work on collaboration between projects and just generally to make an awesome event. So if you're interested, check that out as well. Cool. All right. So jumping into things, I don't think we have anyone from the board here, and I don't think that there haven't been any meetings or anything. So we'll skip over the board updates bit of the agenda here and jump into actual agenda items. So the first one on the list is issue 445. This is the meta around where shall certain resources live. We've discussed this a few times. I actually went in here today because Jory had a pull request open, which is pull request 456, which basically just creates a directory in the cross-project council repository as a place that we will have different resources. So such as the infrastructure menu, the member travel fund, and the OpenJSF marketing services PDF. So we'll have that for now as a place to drop in any sort of resources for projects and the community, and we'll iterate on if that's the best place for it for now. So I merged that PR this morning, which closes that issue. This question, where shall things live? So does anybody have any questions on that at all? No? Cool. Next on the agenda is the issue around starting a code of conduct team. And we have, as I mentioned, and as Jory commented in the issue a couple hours ago, that we have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow. So I'm going to leave this open until we sort of get the ball rolling, and then I'll close this issue probably next week once we have that meeting started and the group spun up. Also, if anybody notices anyone join as an attendee, let me know, and either myself or Rachel, I think, maybe can promote them to panelists. I'm not always watching the Zoom app, so sometimes I miss that. Cool. Next up is the, if I can click on this here. Did I get that right? Is this 414? Yeah. So this is pull request 414. This is adding foundation-wide copyright guidance. This has been open for a little while, lots of conversation on it. I think, Toby, you and Brian were going to work on this.
We did.
Okay.
I have stuff on my backlog. I'm just like really late with work right now. Yep. So it's on me, and I promise to get it. I promised to get it for this week. I didn't manage to, so it will be next week.
Okay, no pressure. I know everybody's got some crazy schedules. I'm noticing too that you have a checklist in one of your comments here, so that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things that need to happen.
Okay. All right, cool. And if anybody has an interest in this and wants to help Toby out, let us know, and it might be a good place to get involved. Cool. Also, we have the post-graduation checklist issue, pull request 386. And this one also involves you, Toby. I think that we have all of the necessary approvals here, and we just maybe need to rebase and can merge this in. And then we can move things over to perhaps the onboarding repository or what have you.
Yeah, the truth about this is My SSD died over the holidays, and I don't have a node installed yet on. I don't have any like developing tool on my new machine yet, and so this is going to take a little while.
Okay. Well, this might be something too that I could help rebase and merge. So if I get the chance to, I'll jump on this one.
So if someone wants to do that, that would be great. That would let me more time to not set up a dev environment.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Cool. So I'll let me make a note actually to try and get back to that. One quick second. Okay. Cool. All right. So moving on. The next issue, or actually pull request, is 379. This is the move code of conduct proposal to stage 3. This has been on hold for a while. The short story is that this is on hold as we spin up a code of conduct team to, number one, I get an MVP of the code of conduct merged in, and then iterate on that. For further context, we had some conversations at the Collaborator Summit in December in Montreal, and a number of things were brought up as questions as to how we handle code of conduct moderation, where we have a foundation and projects, and there were a number of things that were discussed there that we need to work through as well. But the initial thing we need to get done is an MVP of the code of conduct, and then we can kind of go from there. And that's yeah. So I don't think we have anything really to add on that until we kind of move forward on code of conduct team.
Should we add a note on what this is blocked now?
Sure. Is there anything here? That's okay. Yeah. I can, if somebody wants to add a note, or I'll make a note to double back and add a note. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I will go back and do that after the meeting. Thank you, Christian. All right, cool. So next up, we have responsible security disclosures. This is issue 326. I added a comment an hour ago that Marcin has done some great work on the Node.js package maintenance team, where there's a draft security guideline in place there, and has also started to capture current security practices for the OpenJS projects in a gist. That's a comment on the issue itself. And then Toby as well has started the conversation in the AMP project. So I'll turn it over to you two if you want to share a little bit more.
Hi, so this is Marcin here. So indeed, what we plan to do is to build on the work that we have done with the Node.js package maintenance working group, and kind of recommend some baseline practices for foundation projects when it comes to security reporting and publishing security policies. So we've had a lot of good discussion on the original document in the Node.js space. So I think this will just build on that and suggest something that will be actionable pretty easily for foundation projects. As of, I think, a couple of days ago, we also have the security channel on the foundation Slack. So if you want to discuss this, I think that's currently the best place to do it.
Great.
Yeah, and on my side, AMP. My understanding is that AMP is relying on HackerOne to deal with a lot of its security issues through a contract that Google has directly with HackerOne. And as the project moves, completes onboarding, I would like to have that situation sort of clarified. And I'm right now trying to figure out who owns that contract internally at Google. to see what's the plan to move forward.
Okay. Great. And you'll capture that sort of work and conversation in the issue on the AMP project.
Yeah, there's a conversation going there, and I think Google is trying to figure out who owns this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I saw Miles had commented as well.
Ideally, finding someone that has the right set of intersection that actually knows the AMP project, understands the security aspects, and is in relationship with HackerOne to sort of like figure out this transition.
Yep.
I think if we could have a better understanding of what the plans are on the foundation side about this, I think that would be helpful.
Yes, so this is one of the things that we touched upon very briefly in a conversation between Joe and Michael and myself, that right now, so we have the Node.js ecosystem bug bounty program, or a vulnerability disclosure program, if you will, on HackerOne. And in practice, it doesn't only focus on Node.js projects. We would accept, or it would accept a submission against pretty much any JavaScript project at this point, I think. So potentially, if you wanted to move out of this Google HackerOne project to somewhere, and it was not like certain, like where would we move to with AMP? I think this is one of the solutions we could consider.
I mean, I think that would make a lot of sense. Could you actually just maybe write a note in that sense on the AMP issue, in which you already commented like earlier this week?
Yes, absolutely.
That would be great, and then we can have the conversation there.
Yeah, sure.
Wonderful.
We'll do
Thank
that.
you so much. That's super helpful, actually.
Great. Cool. Moving on, trying to get back to my doc here. Great. Excellent. All right, cool. So moving on, the next item in the agenda is issue 185. This has been around for a long time. This is the admin policy docs. Ben Mitchell and I are working on this. I've got a draft PR open, and he and I keep threatening to actually finish it, and that should happen sometime soon. We're basically moving over Node admin policy docs and updating them to OpenJSF. And so if you have any interest in this, feel free to jump in on the draft PR, which is, let's see, where'd that go? 443. Cool. I'll add a quick note. Uh, 443, cool. I don't think there's anything new on project directed funding, which is issue 90. This is still a very active and ongoing topic of discussion with the board. And, I think we'll just leave this on the agenda for now until there is an actual update there. So moving on to the standards team and the couple of issues that they have on our agenda. The first one here is standards issue 58. This is actually chartering the standards team. I don't have any sort of an update on this, and I don't know if anybody from the standards work is on the call. I don't think so. Let me look at this shared doc really quickly. Okay, yeah, there's nothing in the shared doc. So I guess we'll leave that one as it is for now. And the standards meeting was canceled today, so I'm not sure if there'll be much progress on this over the next week or two. We'll see. where that goes. So jumping to the next one, which is joining the Unicode Consortium. I don't think Emily's on this call as well, but Chris says, an hour ago, Chris Borchers mentions per discussion of last week's CPC meeting, I've sent a message to the board asking for their input and will report back if there are any questions or guidance on how to proceed. This is on joining the Unicode Consortium, as Emily has requested. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add on any of those two standards issues. But if not, and there's nothing else on the agenda or for us to talk about, we busted through this meeting in under a half hour, which is pretty awesome. Does anybody have anything else they want to add or comment on or discuss?
Yeah, just a quick question. If someone can update, there's a few notes I wasn't able to take, especially for the first one. Where shall certain resource live, like issue 445.
Got it.
And I missed also charting the standards team right now because I was doing something else.
Great. Yeah, I'll jump in. Thank
Wonderful.
you. I see your notes there. I'll walk through this real quickly and flesh it out further. Thank you, Toby, for helping with note taking. Much appreciated.
Please.
And anyone else. Cool. Cheers, Darcy. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll call it a wrap.
Take
Have
care,
a good day,
folks.
folks.
Okay,
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.